you love birds, Lucas? They're your favorite?
Birds aren't my favorite. They're a little too high maintenance, but they're cool.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Welcome to, this week, for sure this time, episode 42. Little
Right.
correction from what I said last week. I'm excited about this one. This is something Lucas and I have been talking about doing for quite a while and just trying to find the right person and kind of the right timing between when they got their animal and now. So, tonight we are going to be doing a segment where we talk to a new keeper, someone who just got into reticulated pythons and get just kind of a feel of what their experience has been like thus far.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too. I think this is like one of the first things that we tried doing or talked about doing, and uh, we went through times of trying to find someone, then we kind of forgot about it, and we're really excited. We are bringing Amy on. Amy is one of our Patreon members. She is definitely in the reptile scene, and so she's going to get the opportunity to introduce herself and talk about the animals that she has. But I think I met her back on Cusco's Patreon, I think, for the first time. So she is really knowledgeable with reptiles and just has a passion for them. So we are doing our new keeper segment, but we are going to be following her around. So this is going to be the first episode that we do with her. And we're going to follow her experience for a year, maybe longer. If this is a segment that goes well, then we're definitely going to do that. But before we bring her on, just want to remind you guys, if you have not gotten a chance to check out our Patreon, that link is right there or there. I'm still not. Yeah, I just need to point straight down. But come join us. We got over 60 members, and we're growing. It's a great community. And of course, I don't want you guys to forget everything that just happened at USARK Florida. They finished those hearings, and now there is updates that are being made in terms of how the hearings went on the YouTube channel. So go ahead and check that out. Nathan, you got anything else before we bring Amy back?
No, let's jump on into it.
Whether you're just getting into Retics or you've been breeding for years, the first place you want to visit is Stewart Design. More and more breeders keep showing up at shows, on Morph Market, and all over socials. Sometimes it may feel impossible to get anyone's attention. Stewart Design helps small businesses like yours do big things through brand clarity, helping entrepreneurs to start and scale businesses that are easy to know and love. Their work can help any company or industry, but they've done a ton of work for ours. Stewart Design created the brand for USARKs, Canova, Reach Out Reptiles, Coiled, and dozens of other well-known reptile breeders. Like many of us, the owner of Stewart Design, Blake, is a keeper and breeder who fell in love with Retics. Although Stewart Design does a lot of corporate work, Blake has a passion for working with people in the reptile industry. So, wondering if Stewart Design is right for you? Stewart Design can help if you're just getting started or you're ready to take things to the next level. Maybe you're struggling to stand out and build your presence online or at shows. And maybe you don't want to be like the other guys or get lost in the crowd. You want to make your own way doing what you love. You might just have a big idea and know your business is special, but you need help sharing it with the reptile community. If something here resonates with you, reach out to Blake. Have a conversation with him. To learn more or get started, visit sdidentity.com or call them at 855-SD-LOGOS. Clear brand, own markets, Stewart Design helps create them. If you are in the market for an enclosure for your reticulated python or any other one of your reptiles, Focus Cubed Habitats is your one-stop shop for not only the best-looking cages on the market, but also provide amazing features and add-ons to your cages. We partnered with Focus Cubed Habitats because they continue to innovate and change the way we house our animals unlike any other caging company out there. Their cages are designed intelligently and provide the most stylish and secure housing for your animals' comfort and well-being. Visit focuscubedhabitats.com for your animals' caging needs. Again, visit focuscubedhabitats.com for some amazing and stylish enclosures.
We also want to thank VivTech Products for being an affiliate sponsor of the Retic Lounge. Stop by VivTech Products for the best UV spectrum lighting on the market that will enhance and improve your snake's overall well-being and health. Visit VivTechProducts.com and use the code ReticLounge23 today for 15% off. Again, visit VivTechProducts.com and use our affiliate code ReticLounge23 today for 15% off. Looking for the perfect accessories for your hatchlings or juvenile retics? Look no further than HeliGuy Serpents. Our sponsor, Chris Sexton, is coming in hot with an amazing 3D printer, creating top-notch perches and other caging accessories for your beloved pets. Enrich your Retics environment with their high-quality products. Use our promo code TRL10 for a 10% discount on your purchase. Visit them today at HeliGuySerpents.com and start giving your pets the best. HeliGuy Serpents, the premier source for 3D printed caging accessories. Again, that's www.HeliGuySerpents.com and use our promo code TRL10 for 10% off all of your 3D printed accessories today.
All right, let's go ahead and bring her in. Amy.
Hi, guys. How's it going?
Going well.
Good.
Really happy that you did this last minute. For those of you that don't know, we had our Friday night Patreon live, kind of threw the idea out at her, and she's like, I'm packing to leave the country. And I was like, so you're down? And she's like, yeah.
Just a quick break from packing.
That's right. Good break. Need it.
Exactly. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, give yourself the introduction that you definitely deserve, because mine was terrible.
Start.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, I'm Amy Bruner. I am a physician in Portland, Oregon, and I've been in practice for about 25 years, crazy enough. And always have had animals, always have had unusual animals. And had a little break during training and moving and starting new practices and all that. But then my son said, hey, Mom, can we get a bearded dragon? And I was like, what's that? And then it was downhill from there.
Oh, geez.
How long ago was the bearded dragon?
Just a little under 3 years.
Okay.
Oh, so you've grown a lot.
Yeah.
In those 3 years. Cool. I'm glad I'm not the only one then.
Well, like I said, I've always had animals. When I was in grade school, middle school, I had a baby skunk.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah,
I had baby potbelly pigs growing up, but that was about the weirdest or coolest thing that I did, because we didn't live like on a farm. They were in our backyard.
Yeah. Here in Portland, so.
Any other cool animals growing up?
Oh my goodness. It was the usual mix of hamsters and goldfish and parakeets and cats and dogs. Nothing too crazy. It wasn't until more recently that I wanted to get into reptiles.
Okay, and so you started with the bearded dragon.
Yeah.
How was that?
A lot of fun. Very cool. Of course, my son was enamored right at the beginning, and it was like his comfort animal forever. You know, he'd come home from school, put that beardy on his shoulder and go do his homework. Soon after, we got our first ball python, and that's his second comfort animal. And usually she's wrapped around his headphones while he's doing his homework.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Can't do that with a retic. They'll pee on you.
Yeah. And they don't feel, which I'm learning.
Yeah, you'd be way too distracted with the retic.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, I asked about your experience with the bearded dragon, because I always see videos of them and people always have them like on their shoulder. They look super sociable, but I got my buddy into reptiles and he decided to go with the bearded dragon, and that bearded dragon wants nothing to do with him. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you, dude. I'm sorry.
Once in a while, you get that odd personality, right?
Right. And what's cool about beard is you can see that look in their eye. Like whenever I'm over and I see her, you could just tell she's looking at you from the side eye. It's like, leave me alone. Don't mess with me.
Yes. I got my son a t-shirt that says silently judging you with a bearded dragon on it.
So you said ball python, bearded dragon. What else do you keep in terms of reptiles?
Yeah, well, I actually have two ball pythons. The second one is my special needs boy. He's, oh gosh, I can't remember all the genes he has, but he does have some spider in him, so he has a bit of a wobble and sometimes misses his prey. And
love that.
It's very cute. Yeah, he's very derpy, but he's bright yellow with just little brown lines all over, and he's super sweet. Um, Two leopard geckos, one that's almost 18 years old that I adopted at age 14.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Redfoot tortoise and black and white tegu. That's our first ball python there, the Retic right there. Let's see. A Chinese cave gecko. And then I've got the three doomerals, the beardy.
I know you're obsessed with the doomerals.
Yeah.
What? Tell
I
us about that. What do you like about the doomerals? I love them. I think they're beautiful.
I just, yeah, that's mainly it. I just love the look, the pattern. I am a little partial to more, I guess, the natural colors and the natural morphs of, not morph, but you know what I mean, the natural colors of things. I don't usually go for the morphs. The one that I do have was kind of a serendipitous obtaining of him. It was part of a Cusco's live stream
Oh,
giveaway.
that's right.
So he's super sweet. But
Shout out to Cusco.
I know, exactly. Who am I forgetting? The beardy? I think that's everybody. Except for the dog, cat, chickens,
Awesome.
quail, boy, or two.
Okay, this makes me feel a little less busy.
Right, right.
I know, right? My zoo.
And I mean that's what's cool. It's eclectic. There's a little bit of everything in there. Do you mind if I ask you about the tegu? I was obsessed with them for
Yeah. Oh,
probably 5 to 7 years. A little bit before I met my wife, and then I gave up on trying to get one 2 years ago because she wasn't budging. She budged on the snakes, right? And I was like, if I just stay persistent, it'll happen. And no, she really like stood her ground with.
interesting.
She's like, I don't want to. I mean, she's not a reptile person, so the fact that I got like 30 plus retics in my garage is, I'm already pushing it.
That's pretty good.
So, are they great?
I love her. You know, well, of course, they're all going to have their own personality, right? She does like to just do what she's going to do no matter what. So you can't get her in her way. It's kind of like a little bulldozer just working her way through the living room and then to the bathroom and the bedroom. And every once in a while I'd pick her up and she gives me a little nuzzle and then she climbs off my shoulder and out the door. So they're super fun to watch. And, you know, right now she's not brumating, but she's been pretty quiet this last month or so. She's just starting to wake up, I think.
Okay,
How old
cool.
is she?
Just a few years old.
Okay.
And she's already a pretty big girl.
Yeah, she's at least 3 feet. I know,
I
I wish
want
I had her
one.
out, sorry.
No, that's okay. I mean, it probably would cause chaos with the
I know,
laptop and
true. And the
um,
dogs. Yeah,
right.
dogs would not do well.
Does she ever go for your toes?
No, not at
Okay.
all. She's never tried to bite, never tried to nibble on anything. If anything, she just climbs over me.
Awesome.
Like, you're in my way, Mom.
So now, getting into the retic side of thing,
Yeah.
how long have you been wanting one? When did you first hear about retics or were interested? Like, give us that whole story, like when you were first like, ooh, retics.
Yeah. Well, I think I already had, of course, the ball pythons and a couple of the doomerals. I have one baby one right now. And just watching YouTube and different keepers and learning about the different snakes and how you have to keep them healthy. And of course, running across Reach Out Reptiles and a bunch of other people that have retics. And I was just fascinated by how intelligent they were and how much personality they have, all the colors, even though I like the localities more. And so I just kept my ears open. I just kept reading about it and thinking about it. And so when yours came available, I was like, that's the one. You know, I do that. I kind of think about things for a while, but if the right one comes up, I jump.
And were you always planning on pure locality and something small?
I was leaning toward that, yeah, but partly because of my space, of course. All my reptiles are in my living room.
That's so awesome.
I know, right? And that's partly because I just want to be able to keep an eye on everybody and be able to check them out and make sure everybody's doing well, because I'm pretty busy otherwise in my practice and family life. So if they were in another room, it'd be too easy to ignore, so I like having them close by. I got rid of my couch last year to make room.
That is amazing.
I know.
The sheer commitment.
Sacrifice.
Right. The love.
I got a chair. That's all I need.
Giving up our creature comforts for creature comfort.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. It's like couch or more enclosures. Enclosures.
Yeah. Take notes, listeners.
Who picks it up?
So, how long ago did you stumble across the information, like on super dwarfs, and like when you started, like when the idea was like, I'm contemplating
Ooh, good
this?
question. Well, I would say at least a year.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's partly because I was also in the process of doing more of the Doomerals, and had kind of run across one of those that I really wanted, was the right colors, male. I was looking for a male. And so he was still pretty little, and I didn't want to jump into a new one right away. But now here we are.
So she passed the test of not an impulsive buyer. So that's great.
You get a gold star from me, Lucas. Can't
Right.
hand those out because he
Yeah,
doesn't.
the blood python. I didn't tell you about the blood python. That's right. She was a little bit more of an impulse, although I'd always wanted one of those too.
Yeah, blood pythons have always been something I'm super interested in. I always get into debates about people with bloods. A lot of people don't see them as large constrictors, but I definitely,
Oh yeah.
especially with the weight that they can get.
Yeah.
They get heavier than some super dwarfs do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
She is. She's definitely heavier. Just girthier, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And being ground boa, it's not like they hold on.
Yeah, exactly.
Hold on to them.
That's actually pretty funny now that you think about it. I didn't even realize that whole concept with bloods. I always see people holding them, and it's like literally they are holding them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could let go of my Retic, and it's got at least one coil on me.
Totally different. It's really interesting. Oh, big yawn. Oh, sorry.
So, a year into wanting a super dwarf, and what kind of preparation did you do, when did you feel comfortable with getting one?
Well, the timing was really good for me in that I had recently purchased 4 enclosures and hadn't put them all together yet. So I was just kind of putting them together as I needed. And it was, these ones up here, the 6 by 3 by 2.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. And so I knew I had the enclosure. Because of the other reptiles, you always have hides and foliage and branches and things around. So I had plenty of stuff. And I felt really comfortable with being able to set up temperatures and humidities and brightness, the light, different setups for all the different types of reptiles that didn't seem that much harder.
Yeah, I was just about to ask, in your research before getting a super dwarf, did you notice much of a difference between the care of your other animals in terms of setup?
Not really. I mean, I think probably the hardest one is going to be the tegu, because you want so much humidity and heat, a really hot spot. And I guess, and I forgot to tell you, banded lizard, collared lizard.
This is gonna be something like every 5 minutes in this episode. It's like, oh, I forgot.
Right? Oh yeah, that one too. Yeah, Mr. Dash, he's super fast. He's super cool, but he needs really hot temperatures, but no humidity, so that's kind of easy. But when you have both, it's harder. Keep the temperature up. So for the Retic, it was pretty straightforward. The only thing I'm still working on is finding the right hot spot, because the height, I'm used to the taller enclosures, and so getting a fixture that isn't too close to the ground, giving a nice hot spot.
Yeah. I think it's, almost across the board for snakes in general. It's like, if it's ambient at 80 degrees around there, just about any snake can live in that, and then hot spots are gonna vary from snake to snake, but yeah, I think that's pretty straightforward. And so you mentioned you have a bunch of clutter and stuff laying around with all your other snakes and everything. So how did you design your Retics first enclosure?
Well, I knew they were more arboreal than the other ones that I have. So I don't know if you can see behind me, but there's definitely a lot more sticks and branches. My backyard is basically a forest, so I can gather up quite a bit of sticks over time and shape them out how I want them. I've got a lot of foliage, the fake foliage, because I wanted to give her lots of places she could climb around and hide if she needed to. But also the temperature gradient. And I don't know if you can see, there's also a sky hide up there that she loves.
I do see that.
I was
Yeah.
just about to ask if that was a panel or a sky hide.
Oh yeah, she was there this morning, and now she's down on the ground watching me every time I walk by. Where's dinner?
Sounds about right.
Mhm.
That's awesome. So expectations. Well, how old is she? So what age is she? And I know I sold her to you, but I mean, this is I know.
A little over a year. In fact, I glanced at my card you got me, which I love, in the February. So a little over a year as of February. What else about her? I don't know. Being a locality, I'm thinking in the future, possibly doing some breeding. I'm not 100% sure yet. Of course, I've got the 1.2 Dumerals. That could be a possibility. May look into different Retics in the future too. Yeah, when I retire.
Is that around the corner?
Oh, wishful thinking. I have a son still in high school.
Okay, fair. I don't know how long you've been practicing. I know.
So yeah.
I have a couple people that were colleagues, but now they are retired and they're like in their mid 50s, and they just had very successful private practices, and I think they retired like at the age of 50. I was like, okay, that's impressive. That'd be nice to get to that.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
Right.
I really like to travel too much.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. So a year old, and let's it's a Calto locality.
Mm-hmm.
So expectations, have they been met in terms of everything you've read about them? Like, give us kind of what that has been like, also, how long have you had her?
I just looked that up and now I can't remember. Was it March, April?
I can't remember. That's why I asked.
No, I was looking for your texts to see what was the date on this.
Okay, so you've had her for maybe
It was snowing. It was snowing, and we had to wait before you could ship her out because we kept having these weird. I mean, Portland, we don't get much snow. We kept having these weird and mid-March snows.
You got the end of our all of our precipitation from
Mhm.
Utah. We
Yep,
are having the
thank you.
craziest
Thank you.
winter, most snowfall on record.
Because you had texted me March 8th, and we were talking about how it was still cold and couldn't go, so it was soon after that.
So just close to 2 months.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a blur.
Give our listeners a rundown. What's it been like being a Retic keeper for 2 months now?
Yeah, super, super exciting, super fun. I think one of the things that's a little different is not getting her as a hatchling. So she ate right away. She's, super curious. Just really fun to watch her explore her surroundings. I wanted to build her all these things to climb on, but I have dogs too, so I have to be careful, having her out without me just right there. So don't get to do that as much as I want to yet. But yeah, just watching her move is so different, with the climbing through the branches and up to the sky hide. The other ones are mostly in the dirt.
Yeah, most of your other snakes are ground dwellers.
Yeah.
That is true.
That's so interesting.
And as far as all the snakes in the household, is it quickly becoming one of the favorites with all the family members?
Oh yeah. Actually, Devin, I don't know. He hasn't really handled her very much.
Okay.
He's got his ball python, his Samantha.
Okay.
His girlfriend. He's listening to me now. He's like, Mom. Bye.
So let me ask you this: how have you been getting her out? Because I know I was tap training her and I was doing all that. What have you been doing?
Yeah, I'm not the best example for that. I mean, I
Well,
have
no,
a
I would like to hear. Like, if you aren't tap training her, I think that would be really cool. Like, I'd be interested,
yeah,
because she was one that I did a lot of choice based handling and just kind of let her
exactly.
do her. Is that what you're doing?
Pretty much. I'll kind of lean my arm against the open door, along the side and watch her, and she'll kind of flick at me. And if she's looking curious, I'll kind of gently scoop her up and see where she wants to go. There are a couple times where I'm just like, oh, you're not in the mood. I'll just close the door now. But most of the time she wants to come out. But she loves to go as high as she can. I have to watch out for her wanting to get up to the top of the enclosures and then just disappearing behind the back. Um, oh, no, come back. And I walk around with her a bit and she looks around as I'm walking. It's pretty cool to see how much they can extend, which is interesting. They're so strong.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Food response. Let's talk about that, because I'm sure as you were doing research on Retics, and you probably have heard from a bunch of people about crazy food response and getting bid. And I mean, you said you're not using a hook right now. So like, have you observed that? Have you seen that? What's
So
kind of like your point of view of that?
Yeah, so far so good. But again, I like to just sort of watch them first before approaching anyway. Um, but yeah, she definitely goes right for the food when I do have it. But I haven't really had any issues with her thinking that I'm bringing food at a certain point. Maybe because I kind of open it and I wait and I just sit here and I kind of watch her and she watches me. And if she looks calm enough, I'll gently touch her and go from there. But it's early still. It's only 2 months, right?
Yeah.
My little special needs ball is more more likely to bite me because he misses the food.
So, I mean, that's pretty. I'm almost curious as we go through this and as we
Yeah.
talk more down the road, um, getting to kind of grow with this animal and with you two together, how that changes. Like, as she starts to get bigger and gain bigger size. Like, Nathan, I don't know if you've experienced this before, but I oftentimes with like the smaller snakes, I can do the same thing and open a tub or open an enclosure,
Hmm.
wait there, and they are, for the most part, able to kind of think, get out of that food mode, and then I can grab them. But I will say for females or males, once they get bigger,
Right.
I notice, like, if I go into my garage and I'm in my garage, not even thawing out food, some of them are winding up to like hit the glass. And
Yeah.
so when I open that enclosure, there is no way I'm not putting a hook in between us.
I've been definitely watching for that, just in
Yeah.
case.
I definitely feel like that's a breeding behavior more
Yeah.
than anything.
Okay.
Because even now that I have no females cycling in my room, my male has become a much more pleasant animal to deal with again, and it's you know brightened my opinion of him a little bit.
Right.
Right.
Getting better in your
Same with
face.
the females who were super food aggressive. Like, I mean, my purple's super heavy back on food, but she's not like constantly searching for it again. And same with the Annery. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's more just cycling behavior or male breeding behavior more than anything else.
Yeah, and I will say for some of my females, I've noticed it more. But once they hit that 3-year-old mark, they start to go through a growth spurt.
Right.
2.5 to 3 years old. Anytime they're going through that phase of just like where they gain some decent size in a shorter period of time than usual, I notice that just that food response is
Yeah, that makes sense.
not fun.
Yeah. It's like I'm growing, feed me.
Right.
I mean, I have one snake that always thinks it's food time. So,
No
you
kidding.
know, opening up the cage, even when you think you're in a good spot, can quickly turn.
Yeah.
It's my dog.
But I'm glad to hear that things are actually going well in terms of just, the again, that's kind of like one of the things, or like, I feel like in today's world, like back then they used to be like, oh, retics are aggressive, they're mean animals. Now the only big warning that you typically get about retics, other than potential size, is food aggressiveness, right? That food response, and that's like the main danger that they have. And so it seems like so far you're saying your experience has kind of been just uh, she's a thinker.
Yeah, I see that because I do notice if I'm opening her enclosure and she will turn quick. Like I can see that she's thinking that there might be something goody there, but she doesn't jump as fast as some of the other ones might. And if I just give her time, she does seem to figure it out, which is nice.
And just my theory, but I don't think much is going to change in our follow-ups just based on your approach, Amy. And I don't think all of us give our retics ample enough time to think and kind of
Right.
feel out the situation. And we kind of force ourselves into the situation maybe a little bit too soon.
A little too rushed.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that's very true.
That's why I'm so into all the different reptiles because I love to see their behaviors and how they react and it's so fascinating when I notice them watching me. I'm like, what are they thinking? You know, what's catching their eye about me walking by and then going, interesting.
Right.
We need more observers in
Yeah.
the retic and reptile industry for sure.
Yeah. And that's there's always that part about speaking to like keepers, right, versus speaking to a breeder. And that's why like this segment of new keeper that we do, it's always amazing to have people on because they're not taking the breeder approach, and so they're spending that time really observing. They don't have a bunch of those same species where they just go through the monotonous things that they need to do to put in a good days of work in with your reptiles. And yeah, because I will say my experience with choice-based handling has been very positive. But there are times where I'm in there and I have a lot to do, and so I don't get the opportunity to do that. And choice-based handling works really, really well unless there's like the very, very hungry animal. Like choice-based with my wild caught, her choice is always food. And until she's biting something or she's been tapped with a hook, there's no stopping her.
Oh,
yeah. Same with the, this new Solaire that I have, with just how our relationship is right now. No way in hell am I letting a 70-pound snake have this choice-based handling where I can be 6 feet away from the enclosure and she can still lunge out and rock me if she wanted to.
right?
Well, and choice-based handling becomes a ton more difficult when you have more animals than hours in the day.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thanks, Nathan.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I don't have that many, but I feel that sometimes too.
Jeez, you that put into perspective. Like, damn it, I got a lot of animals.
I had that perspective for myself the other day. I'm like, oh, I have 26 animals in my tiny little house right now. Like,
right.
Oh God.
And I'm like, I haven't counted in a while. I'll just tell you that when I do an expo, my 16-year-old son is like, "Don't get any more, Mom."
Right.
When a 16-year-old tells you that, okay, you probably have enough.
I stopped counting at like 25. So I just tell people 25, and then people at work will be like, how many you have? And I'll just tell them like 25. I'm not including the hatchling rack I have or like the 6 more than I've gotten since the 25. At some point for my, I don't like calling myself out. So I have 25. Oh man. So
I love the air quotes.
Yeah.
The close-up air quotes.
Yeah, I don't think Lucas was looking.
No.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
You also put them up? I thought you were referring to. Yeah. I've done good though. I've sold animals, so I got less than I did 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
We need a Retics Anonymous.
Yeah. Or Reptiles Anonymous.
Yeah, exactly. That
I won't use that group for any good right now.
Amy, how do you go? Like, so I know a lot of people have talked about tap training, or not tap training, target training, or trying to do some type of like. So since you're using this approach of just like the thinking, have you considered since it's still early on, have you considered any form of utilizing kind of their higher level of intelligence to find some type of man, what's the word I'm thinking about? It's a weekend, so my psychology brain is not on conditioning.
Yeah, and I do follow Lori Torini and
Okay.
love her stuff and what she's doing with all her animals. And I have been sort of shopping around for targets or trying to figure out what I want to do to try that. But just it's another thing to do, unfortunately, right now. It's a little
Yeah, I would, if
a
you
lot of
that's
to-do
something
list.
that you really do want to try and go for, I'd recommend talking with Duran and just getting a few of his pointers.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
John does it too. That's right.
But let me also provide you. So target training is pretty cumbersome at the beginning. You have to feed smaller meals very frequently to get that condition status to be going. But let me try to offer maybe something that if you are busy, because again you are a physician and you have, children and, but maybe doing something like 3 taps. X amount of time. Yeah. So like on the side of the enclosure, typically, I did this early on when I only had a few retics, and it worked very, very well. But, so whatever side that they were on the opposite side is where I typically would feed them. And so on that side, I would just tap with my finger on the side of it, doom, doom, doom. Like try to do it that same way every single time, and it got to the point.
You don't do what I do and just wave your hand on the other side and then quickly do the other side.
No, I do that now. Like
that's what I do. It's a dance.
That's what I do. Yeah, yeah. Right, like trying to get
long enough for that.
when I'll have Sean over, I'm like, hey Sean, go on the other side right now and get the snake over on your side, so right. I can open up the enclosure. But no, I would tap it 3 times, and so it got to the point where when I would walk by, when I would do things, when I'd be thawing them out, they really wouldn't be glass surfing, waiting for food or anything. They would stand there, but as soon as I tapped 3 times, you would see them just like go right and like they're ready.
Oh, cool. Try it. Yeah, that sounds
so.
Good.
That's a way for them to elicit that tapping is associated with feeding, so therefore any other time that the enclosure is being open and that tapping ceases to exist, they start to realize, I'm not being fed.
I like it. I'll check it out.
It's easier than tap training.
Yeah.
Probably like the results are not nearly probably as effective or the same in terms of like not getting bit.
In terms of like sticking your arm in like Duran,
right,
and putting it in front of its face, right as you open the enclosure, probably not.
No,
but at least it gives it some kind of routine and consistency. If you do it every single time, I think it can't be hurtful.
Yeah.
No, because I'll tell you what, they knew every single time when that tap was coming, they were fed. Now, whether they knew every time I didn't tap and they weren't being fed, I couldn't tell you, but I would tell you that during those times when I would open the door outside of the tap, their response in a food way was way less than what my animals are right now with me not doing that.
Just less in frequency that you would have those anomalies, or just a little bit lower altogether?
Like the intense, like they would become alert and they would look, right, and they would kind of observe. But like if I go to any of my snakes enclosures right now and I just opened up, like they're coming. Like they're coming ready. There's no way around that.
Cool.
I would say besides the younger ones, but that's probably because they're more scared and just waiting and thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
Nathan, why are you laughing?
Nothing. I'm being a child.
I saw the cue right away. So, what else?
What else? What next? No.
I mean, I'm curious.
So it looks like you're going naturalistic. Does it not bioactive? I'm assuming right now.
Not yet. Of course, with most of the snakes, you put any kind of live plant in there, they're gonna squeak. Oh, dart frogs and crested gecko.
There you go. Almost right on cue.
Because they are kind of more bioactive. Got the whole drainage layer and isopods
Yeah, you
and
got to do it
yeah,
with those.
live plants. So yeah, they're on the other side of these enclosures. They're in my kitchen. Um, yeah, so I do have substrate in pretty much all the enclosures and a little bit different mixes depending on whether they're more tropical or more desert type animals. And um, I do have misters going in the more tropical, and I've got the humidifiers and all my little sensors. I am kind of a geek when it comes to electronics, so I do like all the little bells and whistles. Look on my
I'm
phone
the.
to see what everybody's temperature and humidity is.
What do you use?
Well, mostly the Gobi ones, but
Okay.
I'm blanking on the name of the one that you like. Um, Darn it.
You're gonna. Okay. So that was wrong answer. Should only be VivTech.
Let's see.
Um,
Oh, I just got, yeah, they're sitting over here somewhere. I just got two VivTech to try out. And
sweet.
yes, I just haven't got him hooked up to my Wi-Fi because I need 2.4 or something instead of my 5. So
Yeah. Were you referring to sensor push?
yes, thank you. So I have
Yeah.
one of those and then two of
Yeah.
the VivTech that I just got.
I absolutely love my sensor push, but I know that that price range is not for everybody. And so, for any of you that are listening, we're talking about measuring ambient temperature. So I probably have like $500 worth of sensor push in my
Yeah.
garage, and that's not including the $100 gateway. Um, and I did an experiment where I put all of my sensor pushes all in the same area. I removed them, I put them all in the same area, and I used two VivTech sensors, and I put them in that same area. And the greatest variance I had was like after 3 days of them like all in the same area was like 1.2 degrees off. Um, but I also had variations with my sensor pushes.
Hmm.
So for some, it was only like zero point 0.4 degrees off of one of my sensor pushes. The one that's like about 50 or $60. But I'm actually very pleasantly surprised at how affordable they are and the accuracy um, of their
The Viv,
readings.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, humidity readings were pretty on point too. It was within like 1 or 2%.
And I have UV, the VivTech bulbs in most, definitely for my Tegu and for all the hot animals, but slowly transitioning over most of them to that too.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I just turned mine on for the experiment yesterday. So just been, watching with my VivTech monitor. It's kind of cool because that VivTech monitor I've been able to put in my incubator, and
Ooh,
now it's just on a little suction cup. So I've been able to move it all around my room, like
Oh,
put
the
it on
camera.
different
Yeah.
windows. Yeah, if I need to, like while the snake's eating, put it up on an enclosure. But yeah, I'm excited to catch him basking finally under the light, but haven't caught it quite yet. He's just like
cool.
off to the side.
I've noticed with my Halmahera, the cryptic basking, they do a lot. So they'll get some form of it, um, and I don't know. I think maybe as the animals age and get more confident and come out more,
Mm.
because I'm noticing just sky hide. Like the snake is in the sky hide all the time.
He's pretty confident, so I think I'll see him under there pretty soon.
Well, I
Um,
definitely noticed a difference with my Beardy. He would always, as much as possible, be underneath the VivTech. So it was kind of nice to see that.
Yeah. So, any of you listening, you're like, oh, what's this? Go to their website and use ReticLounge23
Yay.
for 15% off. So,
50. Oh.
if you, has there been any part of keeping a retic that has kind of not met expectations so far?
Gosh.
Did you have expectations, first off? Like,
I guess that's part of it too, is do you really have expectations? I don't know. I mean, I think I like so many different types of reptiles that I was kind of open to almost anything that she'd bring. I definitely wanted to see one that was more active and more curious, and she's got that for sure. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see as she grows older if that changes much, and how her personality grows too.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear just because I when I was getting into larger snakes, went the boa route, thought that was like the direction I was going to go, and just quickly found out through a mentor of mine that I much more enjoyed the personality of reticulated pythons. So I'm excited to see what you think between the personalities as we go on.
Yeah, since I have a mix of different ones too, to see how they change too.
Well, and Doomerals are kind of like cheating because they all have pretty great personalities
They're pretty
compared to
well
like BCI, BCC. Yeah, they win out personality wise.
You also don't see them that much. I mean, half the time I have to dig through the substrate to figure out where they are.
Oh, that's true.
You're right.
That's always a fun dig.
Yeah.
Bump into them. Oh, hello. Hope you don't get bit.
So I, for those of you listening, I'd like you to drop down in the comments. Should we do this every 3 months, every 4 months?
I think at least every 3 months, in my opinion, just so we have like a quarterly thing. We get 4 good updates within the first year, and then I feel like year 2, it's a female, right?
Yep.
So this is maybe just my observation in my small collection, and I've raised pretty much everything from hatchling to adult. I noticed that the males hit their growth spurt a little bit sooner than the females. I think the males kind of hit it right around 18 months to 2 years, where the females are kind of like 2.5 to 3 years. They really hit their growth spurt. So it'll be interesting to
definitely
see what you think personality wise when it gets close to that growth spurt time.
Excited to see.
Yeah. Amy, want to give you the opportunity. You can either share where people can find you, or if you want to share what different Patreons you're on, or any other information in regards to tonight's episode that you want to share before we kind of sign out, and we'll meet back up with you in about 3-4 months.
Well, I definitely love the Patreon here with everybody super active and fun and friendly and knowledgeable to hang out with. I'm not myself that much on social media, but I do have a website, AmyBrunerMD.com.
There you go.
So that's something.
Awesome.
It's fun. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, no, it was a pleasure to have you guys on, or to have you on. You guys, Nathan Toe was on here with me.
Her son passed by.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he made an appearance.
A cameo.
And if he does end up interacting with the Retic a lot and ends up gaining a little bit of a relationship, I think we'd love to hear from him as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check with him about that too. It'll be fun.
All right. So before we sign out, want to remind you guys, if you guys are listening to us on YouTube, but you want to try us out on the other platforms, we're on Spotify, and we're also on Apple Podcasts. And yeah, we are. I mean, we're over the 500 sub mark, and just want to remind you guys,
getting to 1,000.
Yeah, we're getting there. And so, just to remind you guys, we haven't been following up every episode, but we are doing a 1,000 subscriber giveaway where you'll get about a $250 VivTech Products package sent out to you for free, and then for every 100 subs after 1,000, we are going to be giving away a USARK bronze membership to a member who is part of the TRL community. So help share, help get the word out, and hopefully you guys will get an amazing package of VivTech products when we announce the winner.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. All right, Nathan, you got anything?
No, this was a fun one, and I'm excited for our next episode.
Same. All right, everyone, thanks for listening. Amy, thank you so much for coming on. We'll see you in a few months.
Okay. Have a
Take
good
care.
night.
Bye, guys.
Bye.